CFA fam, what is up? It is Sunday, which means it is game day, which means this is it before the
That's
fantasy
it.
playoffs start. So if you're, a team that's trying to get that bye, a team trying to make it into the playoffs, this is it. So, and then the field gets cut down. So sad to see it, but also exciting times if you were heading towards the playoffs. So that being said, let's just get into it. I think this is an interesting week of games. A lot of good spots here this week. There's only so we talked on Wednesday. We did our start sit show that we do on Wednesday nights. We talked about weather. Now it looks like there's really only two games to really be concerned with. That's
Yeah.
the Baltimore game and the Jets game. I will say the weather or the wind in neither of them doesn't really look bad. Like 15 to 20-mile-an-hour winds is fine. Like there's really no correlation between it's the rain part that could cause a problem, especially if you're talking about like downpour rain, then that
Yeah.
could obviously cause issues. But other than that, like the weather shouldn't be that big of a concern. All the other games were fine. There's no concern, uh, like we thought there might be. So that's a positive. So there's only those two games. That's really it.
Speaking of which, Kev, I want to ask you this. In a must win, well, it's not necessarily a must win game, but if I want to lock up the first round bye, I need a win. Flacco or Lamar?
I think you still go Lamar, but then because of his ability to run the football, like they're still going to be doing a lot of that. So I think you still have to go Lamar.
Okay. I was really leaning toward Flacco.
Yeah, it's just that's really thin. Michael, morning. This is the best channel. Like and subscribe. Yes, Michael, right off the top. Appreciate you, Michael. Just making sure since you were split on Wednesday, need two running backs at a flex: Pollard, Achan, Gibbs, Javante, Puka, Rice, Laporta.
Pollard, Achan. And I think I'm going to go Rice here, slightly over Laporta.
Agreed. That's what I would go with.
Boom. Simpatico.
Yep. Also, Saints or Colts defense.
Who do the Saints have?
The Panthers.
Probably go Saints. That defense has been banged up, especially in their secondary, but it is Bryce Young and the Panthers we're talking about, so that's not exactly an offense that strikes fear into anybody. And if we get good Jake Browning as opposed to Steelers Jake Browning, I don't think the Colts are going to be that great of a play. So I just by default, I'm going to lean Saints. I don't think you have to like stash either one either.
Also, I think one defense that I do like this week is also the Chicago Bears.
I am playing the Bears in every single one of my DFS lineups.
The Bears defense, it's easy to look at the Bears a lot of times. People look at them and they just think they're this terrible team. But their defense has truly been elite
Really good.
for a while now. Now, this isn't just a 1 week thing. Their run defense has been elite all year. Now their pass defense is starting to catch up. Since week 6, since Jalen Johnson has come back, they are second in the league in pass defense. So, like what we've been seeing, like what we saw them do against the Vikings, the people are like, where is this coming from? Like this has been them. Like this is a very good team and this is a very good defense, and they're at home. So, and Jared Goff has notable struggles, especially outside of domes. So I think this is a pretty decent spot this week for the Bears and a team that really shouldn't be overlooked because their defense has really started to take off.
I like that call.
Big Truz morning, the last week before the fantasy playoffs. I'm playing for a bye. Kamara, Kyron, Jacobs, Rashad, White, Amon-Ra, Keenan, Justin Jefferson, two running backs, two wide receivers, and a flex. So
Kamara, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, Keenan, and then I will flex Jefferson. think Kyron, if the weather were not a concern, I'd probably lean Kyron over Jacobs. But if that game is going to be as run heavy as it looks, not a great matchup going up against Baltimore. So I'm going to sit him there. Rashad White, he's if he scores a touchdown, he's going to get you there. So I feel better about Kamara and Jacobs, and then I like all three of those receivers this week.
For me, it's going to be Kamara, Rashad White, and then Amon-Ra Keenan, and then Justin Jefferson. I mean, I think you can make a case though for all of those running backs. Like Kyron, you can make a case for just because of his incredible
Yeah,
usage, but the matchup isn't great against Baltimore on the road.
exactly.
And then Jacobs, you can make an argument for, but also Minnesota's run defense has been really good too. So that is not a team that I necessarily want to target with Jacobs. And then then it's Rashad White, where we've seen this matchup already once. He scored 16, and Rashad White's been one of the safest running backs in the league all year. I mean, pretty much every week he is giving you a top 24 performance. I mean, 10 of the 12 games or 9 of the 11 games that he's played, he has been a top 24 running back. So I think he is a safe option, but also has some ceiling to him as well. And that game has like some sneaky shootout potential. So is Cup playable? And then same is Cup playable this week, or do I play some with CH or Brees? My receivers are Cortland and Adams, and my wide receiver or my running backs are locks with Kamara and HN. Agree with that?
I'm going Clyde.
I think I think I agree with that as well.
I feel like something just left your soul when you said that.
The thing with Clyde is like I don't like he really has not been very good this year. Like very limited sample, very limited touches, but he's probably going to see 15 to 17 touches in this game. And so while I don't love him, volume is always king. I mean, look at Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott's dust, right? And I know people are going, "What? No way!" I'm like, "Yeah, he's dust. Like he's not very good." But when you see the volume that he saw and the type of opportunity and then in the passing game, like now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not going to see that. Like he's not going to see all the touches,
Especially the targets.
the only thing that I'll say is some of the beat reporters have talked this week about McKinnon that they don't think that he is going to see like a typical workload. They think they're going to ease him back in. I don't know if I buy that because he already gets eased in. Like he's not somebody that sees like he's not somebody you're going to expect
Right.
to go out there and play 60, 70% of the snaps. So but the only thing that would worry me was Deneric Prince was like, will he mix in? Will this be like a three-way committee? We've kind of seen it before in years past, Andy Reid, that he does he'll do something like that. But I just have no faith whatsoever in any of the Rams pass catchers. Like if I don't have to play any of them, I don't want to play any of them. Even Puka, I have no faith in him.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford has been truly terrible in rain and games that involve rain. I've talked about this morning in our Discord. He is 1-5 with 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions in games that he's played in the rain. So I have, especially on the road against Baltimore. Yeah, I'm out on that.
And if you needed another reason to not play any Rams receivers, Matt Stafford has also been a completely different quarterback this year when he's under pressure versus operating from a clean pocket. And obviously, going like you said with the matchup against the Ravens, probably not going to have a clean pocket too often.
Yeah. Jacob, morning, Jacob. Got a few to run by y'all. Sit one, full PPR, mix in Javonte, Mostert, start Lamar or Purdy. And then sit one, Aaron Jones, Mostert, Brees, Nico, or Waddle. So on the sit one, I think you just sit Aaron Jones. I have no idea if he's going to play or not. He's got in limited practices, but I don't. This isn't a spot. I think you feel like you need to play. I mean, Aaron Jones has shown absolutely outside of week 1 where he had those 2 long receptions, he's done absolutely nothing this year. So I have no interest in playing him.
Yeah, for the first one, I'll sit Mostert.
I go back and forth with Javonte and Mostert. So Javonte is also very game script dependent this year. If you look at his numbers, like his best games have come in games where they've handled the game. The games where they trail is where he doesn't do a whole lot. Something that I didn't realize this year because I know he scored. He's yet to have a rushing touchdown. He has 0 rushing touchdowns this year too. That is, I guess it's not something I really pay attention to with him, but he has not scored a touchdown this year. So if you think that the Chargers can get a lead in this game, that it's not as good for Javonte, But I go back and forth. But I think Mostert's kind of in a similar situation now with Achan and the other guys that are there as well. So I think both of them are pretty close. I think I lean towards Javante. Um, so I would sit Mostert and then start Lamar or Purdy. In this situation, it worries me, but I would probably still go Purdy just because of so he doesn't necessarily get there as much whenever the game's taking control. If Geno Smith doesn't play, and you're talking about Drew Lock, do they really have to open? Is he going to get pushed? If he doesn't get pushed, that worries me a little bit. But all things considered, Purdy has just been great all year.
Yeah.
And then do I drop likely for Komet with bad weather?
I would go Komet over Likely.
Yeah, I think so too. It pains me, but yeah, I think I
Yeah.
would. Gino is questionable. Would you pivot from DK to Puka or Rice? I would play
Rice.
Rice.
Yep.
Yes. And then Harold, Gus Edwards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Madison need one in a standard.
Gus. In a standard, I'm going Gus. We run heavy. The Rams' run defense has been good, but this sets up to be a heavy Gus Edwards game.
That's tough. I really like Keaton Mitchell today.
I think they could both get there. I think
Yeah,
Mitchell could still be a decent play, and Gus Edwards. Like I think both of them have a chance of fighting the end zone. I think you're still looking at Gus Edwards getting 15 plus carries, and Keaton Mitchell could still get his 9 and still be fine. There's also a chance with Clyde Edwards-Helaire where we see maybe potentially Buffalo jump out to a lead, and then we see it's more McKinnon. Like I know the reports are coming out that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is quote unquote the starter, but I really like if the Chiefs get down, it's going to be McKinnon that we see. It's not going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So Gus Bus baby, 65 yards and a score. Not overly exciting, but that's what I'm. Mark it down.
I'm gonna go in the complete opposite. I'm gonna go in the complete different direction. Just throw a curveball here. I'm gonna go
Talk to
Alexander. I'm gonna go
Talk to
Alexander Madison.
No.
I'm gonna go Madison. So with Gus, it just worries me. Like I get it that they both could possibly get there, but it's been a three-way committee still with that backfield. Yes, he can fall into the end zone, but I think when I look at just matchups, volume, Alexander Madison is still the lead back, whether we want him to be or not. And so I have all these three of these guys at very similar ranges, but I just have Madison. I have Madison at RB 24, and I have Clyde a couple spots below him, and then I have Gus Edwards at 34. So I'm doing it. I'm going Alexander Madison. Jordan Addison or Zay Jones from Ginger Westfield. I don't want any of them, but I just I would go Zay Jones probably here.
Yeah. Assuming Trevor Lawrence plays.
I think he does. I think it's at this point. It sounds like he was kind of expected to play.
Yeah.
Speaking of injuries, so the actives are. It sounds like Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are expected to play today. So, Samaje Perine, Amari Cooper got cleared. Brees Hall, Chris Olave is playing. Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. I have him over here as active expected to play. Now it's possible maybe he doesn't, but it sounds like they're going to fire him up. And then Juwan Johnson. The players that are missing, obviously Jonathan Taylor, Rashid Shaheed, Isaiah Pacheco, Tyler Higbee, Hayden Hurst, and Taysom Hill are all ruled out. And then the questionable ones that we're still sort of monitoring. I think some of these have been updated, but Geno Smith is still questionable. He's going to be somebody that they're going to run through. It sounds like this is more of a serious injury than what they're saying. It sounds like they think it's more of a 2-week injury, but Geno Smith is going to try to push through to play. I don't know how that works, but
It looks like Lawrence is good to go.
yeah, that's what I thought. So, that being said, I don't know.
Still going Zay.
So, you know who I like? So there are a couple wide receivers that I like. One that I moved up into my top 36 wide receivers is Jonathan Mingo. Jonathan Mingo is the wide receiver one on that
Ooh.
team now. He's
Ooh.
played like it. He's receiving the target share like it. Um, so I really like Jonathan Mingo today. It's a good matchup as well for them. And so I do like Jonathan Mingo. Like I said, I have moved him up. Uh, 16 targets the last 2 games. He has surpassed Adam Thielen. I actually dropped Adam Thielen outside of my top 36. I moved Mingo up into my top 36 in a dome matchup. So I do like him. And the other one is from the same game of not that game, but of Zay Jones, and that's Parker Washington. Parker Washington last week, he is playing the Christian Kirk role. He played 65% of the snaps last week from the slot, saw 6 targets in that game. And the thing to look at with that game is with Cleveland is Cleveland plays man coverage at the highest rate in the league. 45% is by far the highest rate in the league. And Calvin Ridley has really, really struggled against man coverage this year. There's been other games this year that I have done the same thing where I completely faded Calvin Ridley. One of them notably was against the Saints, which is a similar matchup there because the Saints play heavy man. And Calvin Ridley did absolutely nothing. I think he scored like 1.5 in that game. I know everybody was losing their minds because Calvin Ridley wasn't seeing a target, but that's the way that they operate. And who was it? It was Christian Kirk. Now, obviously, Parker Washington is not Christian Kirk, obviously talent wise, but they really funneled things to the slot, and that's why I really like Parker Washington as well. He actually looked pretty good in that game against last week against the Bengals. Solid touchdown, solid end zone target, 6 targets in that game. So those two, Parker Washington and Jonathan Mingo, would be 2 options that you could look at, and I would play both of them over Jordan Addison and Zay Jones. The thing with Jordan Addison is with Justin Jefferson back, it likely pushes him down to like the third target because TJ Hawkinson is obviously still there. And then the question is, can Josh Dobbs support 3 playmakers? I'm going to say no. And so that what worries me about that. And then Zay Jones playing on the outside, don't love it either. So with those targets, so those would be the options that I think you could look at as players who are widely available that you could look to plug in. And I just think are in a little bit better spot. So that's been my TED talk for today. Ashton, need a quarterback, Stafford or Minshew? Not Stafford. I have Stafford at quarterback 27 this week, so
Yeah,
I'm
not
not
Stafford.
playing Stafford at all. So
Tight end, I'm going to go Otton just because of the weather. I liked Brevin Jordan when it kind of looked like for a little bit that they were going to miss the majority of that rain. If you're following along with the guy who does the weather stuff, Kevin Roth for Roto Grinders on Twitter, for a while it looked like the rain was going to stay both east and west, but now that has shifted. So I would just go Otton. I think it's a little bit safer. And then start two in the flex. I'm going to go London and uh, Brees.
yeah, I mean, I would go Minshew if that's the options that you have to choose from. I do think that like if you really wanted to, like Joe Flacco is a better play. I mean, we just saw Jake Browning get there against this Jaguars pass defense. I mean, their pass defense is dreadful. Amari Cooper is playing, so that is a positive. So as well with him, with Elijah Moore and Joku, so all their weapons are there. And so you could look at a Joe Flacco over both of them. Minshew, I think, is fine as well. Cincinnati's pass defense has been really bad too, so you probably lean Minshew there. But I do think Flacco is an option. And then between Otton and Brevin Jordan, what worries me about Otton is he's so hit or miss. Like last week, he saw 0 targets. And so, but this game, Brevin Jordan, I get the weather, but he's kind of become like their number 2 target right now within this offense. And so, could you see some dump off, some short area targets for Brevin Jordan? I think you could maybe inside the red zone. And so, I would probably go Brevin Jordan on that one. I know it's a little bit tricky, but I don't really love Auden either. I also think another tight end that you could look at that is in terms of because the options you're playing here, Tanner Hudson. Tanner Hudson's been running a lot of routes He is seeing like a 36% target per route run rate. Saw 5 targets last week in a matchup here, with this game. So I do like Tanner Hudson quite a bit as well. If you don't want to go with Otten or Brevin Jordan, I do think he is somebody because he's been pretty safe as an option. And then start two, it's going to be look at that. Love to see the Parker Washington on there. I'm going to go Drake London for sure. Love Drake London today. Top 24 wide receiver. And I'm going to go Brees Hall. Yep, that's what we're doing. Where were we at? Right here. I appreciate you, Ashton. Impossible. Need one running back, two flex. CH, McKinnon, Aaron Jones, Nico, London, Noah Brown, Amari Cooper, Lockett, Moore, Higgins, Zay Jones, Wicks. Do you have anybody else to choose from? That's a lot of different options.
McKinnon.
So running back is either CH, McKinnon, or Aaron Jones. Yeah.
Go McKinnon there. And then 2 flex. Certainly not doubling up on KC. We already talked about Aaron Jones. So I'm going to go London and is that DJ Moore? Or Elijah Moore? If that's DJ Moore, it's definitely DJ Moore. If that's Elijah Moore, I'm going to go London and Amari Cooper.
I'm going to go Nico Collins and London. If you look at the Jets recently, the Jets have really started to struggle against opposing number 1 wide receivers. They got torched by the Dolphins. Both of those wide receivers got there. I know there's the weather concern and stuff like that, but I still really like Nico. So I would probably still go Nico with the other option. Now, Amari Cooper is in a better spot because he was really being targeted heavily by Joe Flacco before, and then we saw all the targets get forced to Elijah Moore. So Amari Cooper's right there with London. So if you're worried away because of the weather and everything like that in the Texans game, I think that's fine. If you wanted to go Nico and Amari Cooper, I think both of those are in really good spots. All 3 of them are top 24 wide receivers, but I still have Nico at wide receiver 12. And then Joe, need 2, Mostert, Swift, ETN, James Cook. This is going to be James Cook. And
Cook and ETN.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I'm lower on Swift and Mostert than him, but I'm lower on ETN. I moved ETN down to running back 9 or running back 16. Raylan, hey guys, how are we feeling today on Football Sunday? Feeling good. There's football, right? You know, the funny part is that we had the Steelers and Patriots game on Thursday, and everybody was complaining about how bad it was going to be. But I guarantee you, you would take that game all day when it gets to March or May or whatever, right? Where there's no football, you'd be begging for that game. It's just funny that we all complain about it when the season's going on. But any other time, I don't care what game it is, I'll watch it.
I wasn't complaining.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Justine, choose one half-point PPR, Elijah Moore, Dobbs, or Zay. This is going to be Romeo Dobbs with Christian Watson likely out.
Dobbs.
Yeah, he's in a really good spot. Chad, Dobbs, QB1 today. I mean, he is I think he has QB1 upside, but he's not the QB1. I don't know which way we're going with that, but yes, I think Josh Dobbs is in a pretty good spot. And then Sensei, would y'all start Keaton Mitchell over Austin Eckler today?
I can't do that. I know Eckler has been a turd. I know Mitchell is the Devon Achane of the North, but I can't. I can't. Ask me next week, but this week I still can't. I still can't do it.
There's been all these reports that they're going to play the hot hand and they're going to get Spiller and Joshua Kelly involved and all this other stuff. You know what? Those guys are terrible too. They're like, it's not like we're talking about some good option here that they have.
Yeah.
So, the Spiller is god awful. Kelly's awful. It's a great matchup. It's just Austin Eckler and they're not using him the same way. They're not using him as a pass catcher as much, but I'm still probably going to play Austin Eckler. Like, if he can't get it done today,
then
we're just sitting.
Yeah.
Chip, Zay Jones, Noah Brown, or Jordan Addison, PPR. I'm going to go with Noah Brown.
I'm going to go with Zay.
Yeah.
Again, whether I know what you were saying about the Jets secondary, but it's still going to be Zay for me.
Or the other options like we talked about. I still think those guys are in play. Raylan, I got a first round bye in my fantasy playoffs, trying to clinch in another league. Wish me luck. Good luck today, Raylan.
Let's go.
Bitch Eckler for Rashad for Kelly. No.
Absolutely
not. Raylan, PPR, flex, Nico, Aaron Jones, Keaton Mitchell, or Higgins. I'm gonna go with Nico.
Keaton Mitchell.
Don't hate that either. Itty bitty South City.
650. Let's go.
14 team, half point PPR, starting Stafford in the rain. Saw that he plays horrible in the rain. You are correct. He does play. I am not starting Stafford.
In a 14 team, though, I mean, maybe Jake Browning is available. I'm trying to think of some guys that might be available in a 14 teamer. Because in a 14
I would play Joe
team
Flacco
league,
over him. I would play Aiden O'Connell over him. I would play Tommy DeVito over him. I would play Desmond Ritter over him.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you possibly have available, because I know for me anyway, in a 14-team league, I'm also more likely to carry 2 quarterbacks, whereas in like 12-team leagues, I'm not really looking to do that as much. But in 14-team leagues, it gets really dicey really quick, especially depending on what point you drafted your QB1. So let us know what options you have available. But I would not want to start Stafford.
Me neither. Steven, what's up? Should I sit Jackson for Love? Worried about the bad weather in Baltimore. Love at least has the Giants, but I don't know.
I would go Love over Lamar.
I do like Jordan Love this week, but I'm still playing Lamar Jackson. Just the rushing component that he brings. I mean, he could have 100 yards rushing today and a couple rushing touchdowns. That is. So, Douglas, Morning, need a PPR flex. Dylan, London, Dobbs, Ford, JSN. It's going to be Dobbs for me. Or no, London. Sorry. Didn't see London there. This is going to be London for me.
It's like, man, you said you have London as a top 24. Where the hell do
you no.
Yeah. London. Murdoch.
Yeah, see, I needed that. Good morning. Trying to get that bye. Puka, Javonte, Locker, or Keaton Mitchell in the flex. Weather in Baltimore looks bad.
Javonte.
Yeah, I think it's either Javonte or Keaton Mitchell. I do like Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah.
But in your spot, I think I probably just go Javonte because Keaton Mitchell could go all over the place. Like if Keaton Mitchell today had played 25% of the snaps and handled 15% of the rush attempts, wouldn't surprise me, right? He still only handled 24% of the rush attempts the last time they played, even though he played 46% of the snaps. So that worries me. But the upside is certainly there. Like he is Devon Achane light. Which is funny because all the way back in March, whatever we were doing.
Here we go.
Yep. But that was our argument, wasn't it? It was an argument. I was really high on Keaton Mitchell. You were really high on Achane. It's funny that ever would have, because once the draft happened, I never would have thought Keaton Mitchell. We'd be talking about Keaton Mitchell seriously, just because of his size and everything and where he was drafted, draft equity. But it's just funny that these two are kind of similar now.
Yeah, we weren't arguing, but you were making the case for Keaton Mitchell, and I was discounting him because of his where he played, his level of competition. I will give you props. You were saying that like they're basically the same, and you don't know why he's not getting as much hype or love with Achane getting the buzz that he was getting. So there wasn't an argument. I
It wasn't
pushed
meant to be a
Keaton
victory lap.
Mitchell.
It was more of a. It wasn't like
It,
that.
it was though. So
It was a subtle victory lap.
all the way back in March.
I just thought it was funny that we were talking about those guys all the way back then when not a lot of people were talking about, especially Keaton Mitchell. But Raylan, I'm in a must-win game this week, and I have Henry as my second running back. Do we fire him up or start McKinnon? Royce Freeman, Spears, Hunt, Kelly over him this week. Tough scene.
I think if you need to swing for the fence, I would go McKinnon. But if you feel okay about your matchup, I think you could still go Henry, although there's a good chance that he gets game scripted out and does not see many opportunities in the second half. But just like I'm not going to rank McKinnon over Henry, so that one, like I said, comes that to me comes down to if you need to swing to win the game, because you could be in a must-win game and like still feel okay about your matchup, right? But if you need to swing, I'm definitely going McKinnon over Henry.
It's kind of how I agree. I mean, Henry is just so game script dependent. It's tough to trust him.
Yeah.
Oh, don't want to miss these. Got a couple of these in here. Cameron, flex one: Nico, Olave, Waddle, or Smith.
Waddle.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Waddle there. As much as I like a lot of these wide receivers. You're having to decide between these players.
Yeah,
I mean,
I do not envy you, Cameron.
yeah, but with Goddard back, it lowers my love for Devonta Smith. We've kind of seen that this year. Olave, I really am not that excited about Olave. Derek Carr is extremely banged up. He hurt the same shoulder that he already hurt. We saw this earlier in the year where he couldn't throw deep, and if you can't throw deep, it really hurts Chris Olave. Like Chris Olave can still get some underneath stuff, but that just worries me quite a bit. So, and then Nico, we've already talked about, but with having Waddle, I'm going to play Waddle. And then Zach, Dobbs or Goff? This is Dobbs.
Dobbs. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
I got. Never mind. We had that one. Adam, which two in PPR? Ridley, Chuba, Noah Brown, or Elijah Moore?
Chuba for sure. Really like Chuba Hubbard this week. And the other one's tough. I really don't like Calvin Ridley this week, but just between the options you have here, I guess I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley. I don't love it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Good luck, Adam. Alex, good morning, guys. Best of luck. Good luck to you as well. Need help? Pick one on the flex. McKinnon, Spears, Wilson, Flowers.
I'm going to go Garrett Wilson.
I will double down on the KC offense. I'm going to go McKinnon. I can't start Garrett Wilson with Zach Wilson in the rain. Like can't do it. Won't do it. Kev, break out those kicker rankings, buddy. Elliott or Moody?
Pretty sure it's going to be Elliott, but yeah, Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott's number 2 kicker on the week.
There we go. Who do you think will do better today, CEH or McKinnon? This one coming from Daniel. I am Team McKinnon today. I just think McKinnon has the higher upside. We keep waiting for the Chiefs to, outside of Kelsey. Rice has stepped up in recent weeks, but like we're still like no one feels great about that passing offense in terms of like who is the guy, right? And we saw McKinnon last year during the same time end up being a league-winning type of running back. Obviously, to try and replicate what he did down the stretch, it's not something you necessarily want to chase. But I do think in this matchup, it does help that Bolton is coming back, but that's still not going to solve all of their defensive issues and their defensive injuries. So I think McKinnon ends up being the higher ceiling play this week.
Yeah, I think there's a better shot because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also terrible at pass protection, which is obviously crucial, and which will probably limit him to a first and second down back only, and that's where you probably see McKinnon plays on third down, passing situations inside the red zone. So I do think McKinnon is certainly a higher ceiling play than CEH.
When I first saw this one, like my mind skipped over Kyle Pitts. I was like, who the fuck is asking about Kyle Orton? What are we doing, Raylan? But this is gonna be Pitts for me this week.
Yeah, I agree.
Aura, good morning. Full PPR, Nico, Sutton, or Javante. Thanks.
I'm gonna go Nico.
I'm gonna go Sutton. Sorry, we weren't help there, Aura. Good luck to you. Another one here from Ashton. Sit one in a tight end premium. It's a full point premium. Addison, Goddard, or Gabe. I'm going to sit Addison.
Agreed.
Need to start two in a 3 wide receiver league here for Noel. Waddle, Jacoby, Odell, Zay Jones, Thielen. Waddle's a lock. And then I lean Zay.
Um, I'm gonna go Jacoby Myers.
Start one running back, one flex for Noel, Mostert, Chuba, Ford, CH, McKinnon, Roshan. I'm going Mostert and McKinnon here.
I'm gonna go Mostert and Chuba.
Herbert or Lamar?
I'm gonna go Justin Herbert.
I lean Herbert as well. Lennon or Dobbs? It's going to be Lennon for both of us. Start one, Jones, Swift, CH, McKinnon, or Mitchell. This is going to be McKinnon for me, but I have a feeling you're going to say Mitchell.
I am.
They're both close. I lean McKinnon by a smidge. Real deal, Michael Gill. Rice Evans or a wide receiver now. Need a flex. Laporta, Gibbs, Javante Puka, or DK.
Gibbs.
We are split a lot over these past couple of questions. I'm going to go Laporta over Gibbs.
I think they both make sense. This profile is a much better matchup for Gibbs because where you beat the Bears is still through the pass catching running back. That's the one spot they have continually struggled against is pass catching running backs, and that is Gibbs' role. So that's why I lean towards Gibbs.
The only thing that would worry me about that is if the Bears don't jump out to a lead. Like if somehow the Bears were able to jump out to a lead, then I think it becomes a full-on Gibbs game, right? But I think if it's still like within striking distance for the Lions, that we still see more David Montgomery than we should, given the matchup, and especially with the Lions missing Frank Ragnow center. That's a big miss for them. But that's the only thing that has me a little bit lower on Gibbs. Garvey, with bad weather, bad matchup, would you bench Puka for Elijah Moore or Garrett Wilson full PPR? I would take the shot with Elijah Moore.
I would play Garrett Wilson.
RD, Laporta, or Kincaid. That's going to be Laporta for me.
I'm going to go Laporta as well.
Cameron, would you sit Cup and pick up Dobbs or Reed due to rain?
Yes.
I would go Reed.
I would go Reed too.
That's the night of the uprising of the icon, the showstopper, the main event. Rashad Penny. I wish I had as much faith as you do, CHB. Like that'd be, I feel like that would just be like a really positive outlook on life that I wish I had. I know I already asked this, but needed both opinions: Keaton or CEH, or CEH or Puka for the flex,
Keaton,
and CEH.
yes.
I would rank them Keaton, CEH, and Puka. Start one: Cooks, Flowers, or DK. This is going to be Brandon Cooks for me. The Joker.
Let me say this: since we'll know in advance, if Geno Smith is out, I will play. Then I would play Brandon Cooks. If Geno Smith were to play, I would go DK Metcalf.
Because it sounds like it's not going to be great for Geno, even if he does play. I'm still going to go. I would still go Cooks. That wouldn't really change my mind here. Full PPR, choose two here for the Joker: Achane, Mostert, Ridley, Chuba, Jerome Ford.
Achane and Hubbard.
I'm going to go Achane and Mostert. Truz, back to my question about CEH. Could I play Keaton and outscore CEH? I think Keaton could outscore CEH. I would play Keaton over Clyde. JR, glad you could join us. Appreciate you. And if you guys are joining us for the first time, since we're awful at doing this, please hit us with a sub and a like. We go live every Sunday morning before the games lock, and we also go live on Wednesday nights as well to answer all of your start sit questions. We will be going live tonight to give you the first look at waivers as well. So 2 lives today. CHP, Isaiah Spiller, or Josh Kelly?
This is Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly. Daniel Caps. Fellas, flex PPR, Addison, Downs, Ridley, Ford, Monty. I'm playing Etienne, Moss, Tyreek, and Reed.
Slot funnel matchup for the Colts. I'm going to go with Josh Downs.
I'm going Downs as well. Over on Twitch, the Icy Hype Beast. Cup or Ridley? I don't love either, but at least Ridley is not dealing with downpours and a quarterback who does not perform well in the rain. So I don't love it, but it's Ridley.
I agree.
I'm replacing Geno Smith with Flacco, Ritter, or Levis. I would go Flacco.
Yeah.
Ritter is close though. Levis has been way too up and down. Geno Smith most likely out. Is DK still worth the start? CHB depends on your options. I'd probably be looking to sit him, but depends on who you have. TX, which two between Javonte, Keaton, Ford, or Swift? I feel like these group of running backs have been super popular in the questions we've gotten so far today. But yeah, I'm going to go the first two.
Yes, agreed.
Another one here from Alex, Jordan Okonkwo or Kraft. I'm going to go Kraft.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft.
James, pick 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 flex. Looking at Nico, Chase, Debo, Moss, Montgomery, Mixon. So Chase and Debo at wide receiver for me. 1 running back is going to be Moss, and then I'm going to flex Mixon.
That's exactly what I would do.
Flowers in London, that is going to be London. TX, which two between Pollard, Javonte, Achane? I will sit Javonte here.
Yep.
Throwing Ford into the mix now, it's still going to be Pollard and Achane for me.
Yep.
Miami or the Saints D?
It's going to be Miami.
Miami for me as well. Eckler or Mitchell? We already answered this one. It's going to be Eckler. Castillo made playoffs in all 4 of my leagues. Hell yeah. Now I'm just waiting for position. Noah Brown, Amari Cooper, or Singletary. This is going to be Amari for me.
Yep.
Joe, non-PPR, pick 1. CEH, Hall, or Mitchell. Man, I think I'm going to go Mitchell here.
I'm going to go with Brees Hall.
Dobbs or Cooks. I'm going to go Cooks on that one.
It's actually a lot closer than I thought, but I would still go Brandon Cooks. Just that game environment looks incredible.
Yeah. Olave, Collins, Ayuk. We need 2. God.
I'm sitting Olave.
Yeah. I think I'm with you, but I do not. I do not like playing Collins today, but I'm with you. Non-PPR pick 2, Puka, Olave, Ayuk, and Collins. Still going to be the same thing for us. We do have a Discord as well. So if you don't want to wait until we go live to ask questions, you don't want to jump into any of the YouTube videos to ask a question, you can join our Discord community. I think we're up to over 200 people in there. I want to say something like that. Goes all year long. We have different channels for redraft. If you're into DFS, dynasty, betting, just general talk, we have we built a pretty good community over there, thanks to a lot of the people who are in the chat currently. So absolutely free, no strings attached, anything like that. So go ahead and jump in if you would like to do so. Castillo, Herbie, or Lamar. I'm going to go Herbert there by a smidge.
Yeah.
We need 1 at a super flex here for Ashton, Minshew, Dobbs, or Browning.
Dobbs.
I'm going to go Dobbs. Really close with Minshew. I like this matchup for him a lot. Lamar, Flacco, or Mayfield.
It's going to be Lamar.
Raylan, I'm faced with Lamar or Flacco in a matchup where I have to win if I want to secure the bye, and I'm going up against Dak and a couple other nice pieces, and I'm really leaning toward Flacco. But as of right now, I still have Lamar in. I might tinker myself out of that by the time that the lineups lock. But as of right now, Lamar's in my lineup. Monty or Collins in a PPR. I lean Monty. I know it's not a good matchup for him. Bears run defense has been really good. But like I was talking about earlier with kind of like leaning away from, or the thing that makes me hesitant on Gibbs, I don't see the Bears running away with this one. Because of that, I still think we see Monty get some goal line touches. I think there's a better chance that Monty scores over Nico.
I'm still going to go Collins, but the Monty argument is a decent one. And if it is a back and forth game and it is high scoring, then I mean Monty could easily find the end zone a couple of times on a goal line, plunge, stuff like that. So I think it's close, but if the weather is, if you want to let the weather, be the tiebreaker, then Monty is probably the safer option.
That's it for me. Chris, Rice or Javonte Williams in the flex? I'm sure we're both going to go Rice on that one.
Absolutely.
Starting Magic, full PPR, Godwin or Olave, and Walker or Pierce.
Well, with these options, I am going to go with Olave over Godwin.
Olave, and then
I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker. I mean, I think you don't. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Dameon Pierce. I know he found the end zone last week and he looked like the better running back, but I don't know if you can trust that.
I lean Pierce over Walker, just because if San Fran gets down, especially if they're starting, Drew Lock, then I think we see them go to Charbonnet as the preferred pass catching back. That's the only thing that pushes me off of Walker.
Yeah, there's no concern whatsoever with Dameon Pierce falling behind, right?
Yeah. The only concern is that they end up going back to Singletary, right? Like that's really the only thing you're scared off of. But I think in this game with this weather, we could see Pierce and Singletary both get double-digit touches. Pick one: Okonkwo, Jordan, Kraft. I think we got that one. It's going to be Tucker Kraft. Yes, like the stream if you have yet to do so. Also subscribe if you are new. Thank you to Raylan and Ashton for doing our jobs for us. Alexis, rock with us. Good luck in your matchups this week. One of my league's playoffs started. 2-week championship. I don't mind the 2-week championship. I don't mind that.
I don't mind it at all because of how I wish there was a way you could each week was 2 weeks, because there's so much just variance that happens and just pure luck that happens through those weeks. But I don't mind that a 2-week championship. I think that's fair.
Hudson, Otten, or Brevin Jordan. I'm going to go Hudson on this one. Yango. Got Ayuk, Gibbs, Hawkinson, Laporta. 2 tight ends. I have Ayuk, Hawkinson, and currently. Yeah, I would go Ayuk and Hawk. If I were ranking them, I would go Ayuk, Hawkinson, Laporta, and then Gibbs. That's how I would. I'm sure you have Gibbs over Laporta, Kev. Worthier, Lamar, or Russ first week of playoffs? God.
I'm going to go Lamar.
I think Russell Wilson has the safer floor. But I lean Lamar here too. God.
You're probably right. I mean, some things with Russell too is that he's actually been running the ball a lot. I think he has 22 rush attempts over his last 2 games, which is a lot. I mean, that's like old Russ. Obviously you don't have to worry about the weather at all or anything like that there. So, because the only thing that worries you about Lamar is that he doesn't score touchdowns, doesn't throw for touchdowns. Even if he were to rush for let's say 80 yards, get those 8 points. But if he only scores 1 touchdown, it's really not that great of a game because he's probably not going to be throwing the ball very much. And so, yeah, that's the only thing that worries me. Where I think Rush, you could say, has a higher ceiling.
Truth.
Yeah. Need a flex. DK, Kincaid, Chuba. Who should I pick up? CH or McKinnon or even Gainwell, just in case anything happens to Swift. I have Swift too. I'm going to flex Chuba. I really like Chuba Hubbard today. Really, really solid matchup against the Saints here. Chuba Hubbard has taken over as the lead back in this offense as well. And I just think there's a lot to like here. I'm not really worried about any sort of game script stuff happening. I do think Kincaid is interesting, but I don't know how they're going to play this, because I really hope that they don't go back to doing what they were doing with why is his name escaping me? The other tight end
Dawson
there.
Knox.
Yeah, Dawson Knox for the Bills, because their offense was well worse whenever he was out there and they were running a lot of 12 personnel. That is not something they should do. So That was the only thing that worries me, though, is if Dawson Knox comes in and takes touches away or targets away from Kincaid. So it has me a little bit lower. I would like to see how that situation plays out. So I would go Chuba. And then if you're picking somebody up, I mean, you probably pick up CEH because the thing is I mean, Andy Reid said that they might put Isaiah Pacheco on IR.
Yeah.
This is the same injury that he suffered last year, or same shoulder that he got hurt with last year. It's really what cost him to miss most of preseason too, as
Yeah.
well.
Just
And
surgery.
so there's some concern there. And if he were to be placed on IR, then then CH is now the lead back. As much as I hate it.
I would go Kincaid just because of the game environment. That just makes me more excited. I know there's obviously the the fear of Knox coming back into the fold, but this offense has been better when they're going, 11 personnel versus the two tight end sets. And we also have to remember this is now Joe Brady running the offense. So I think Knox is going to mix in, but I don't know that we see as many 12 personnel snaps. So like I said, just with the game environment, I'm going to go Kincaid. Um, I wouldn't mind picking up both of them. Truth, if you have someone else you could drop to pick up Gainwell and one of the KC running backs, I lean Mixon again just because I mean McKinnon rather, but I wouldn't mind trying to pick up both of them if you can. And typically at the beginning of the year we talk about not handcuffing your own running backs, but whenever we're getting into the playoffs, that's when we do want to handcuff our own running back. So just to clarify that, Kyron, Puka, or Godwin. This is going to be Kyron for me, Ashton. Monty or Pollard. I'm going to go Pollard. Kev, you're muted, in case you didn't know. Dylan, both full PPR. First one, Shroud at Jets or Field versus Lions is going to be Fields for me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then one running back, Ford, Singletary, or Clyde. I'm going to go Clyde.
Yeah, I agree.
T-Law or Shroud versus the Jets in the rain.
I'm still gonna go with Stroud.
Still going to go Shroud. It's close, though. Ryan, start one, Puka, Flowers, or Lockett.
It's gonna be Flowers.
Flowers. Should I sit DK? CHB depends on who for. What are your options here, pal? Rashad or McKinnon at the flex. I'm gonna go Rashad White.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
PPR Rice or McKinnon. I'm gonna go Rice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Good luck today. Hope to see you back next week. Chris, good to see Chris in here. I feel like we haven't seen Chris here for a while. Waddle, Henry, Higgins, Moore. This is going to be Waddle.
Yeah.
HP back with us. Hope all is well with you, my guy. Need 3 of the 4. Keaton Mitchell, Kincaid, McKinnon, Garrett Wilson. I'm going to sit Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I think I agree with that too. Yeah.
And then HP's wife needs some help as well. 2 out of the 4. Wilson, Lockett, Ridley, McKinnon.
I'm going to go with Wilson and McKinnon.
I'm going to go Ridley and McKinnon. Good luck to both of you, HP. Thanks for joining us over on Twitch. Hey, Landy, Cooper, Downs, or Ridley?
This is going to be Amari Cooper for me.
Thought we were going to disagree. Thought you were going to go Downs there. I'm with you. I'm going to go Amari Cooper. DK, really, hey, what's up, guys? Need your help. Should I start Kenneth Walker or Wilson in the flex? And then which defense? So it's going to be Houston defense for me. And then
I'm going to go Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Go Wilson as well. Golly. Another one here from Chris, Dallas or the Eagles D.
I don't want to play either of them at all.
I would rather play the Bears over both of them, Chris. I'm assuming the Bears will be available for you. And then the kicker, Elliott or Joseph. We're gonna go Elliott.
But if we had to choose and we don't have another option, I guess I probably go Dallas just because their ability to turn the football over and
I will say I just pulled this up really quickly. For ESPN leagues anyway, the Bears are rostered in 4% of leagues. So I would think that they would be available for you. Gretz, Njoku, or Goddard for tight end. That's going to be Goddard for me. I think if Cooper were out, I would lean Njoku. But in this matchup, this game environment, I'm going to go Goddard.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go Goddard.
And then it's going to be Elijah Moore over Quentin Johnson.
Okay, this is what I'm going to go back to this is really where the the place where if you really wanted to, you could play, maybe it's people knew that weren't here in the beginning when I kind of, went through the whole thing, but Parker Washington, Jonathan Mingo, both of those guys, I would easily play over both of those options. Elijah Moore would have been a much better option if Amari Cooper missed, but now that he's playing, I don't really like him as much. Quentin Johnson is Quentin fucking Johnson. He's just been dreadful. I know he scored 5 for 50 or whatever it was last week, but he just
still dropped another big one.
Yes, he has just continually looked awful. But Parker Washington, Jonathan Mingo is now looking like the number one wide receiver for the Panthers. He's 16 targets over the last 2 games. He's easily out targeted Adam Thielen, seeing a lot more opportunities. And then Parker Washington playing the Christian Kirk role. It's a better spot within the offense to target against the Browns. So both of those guys are like well above those two.
I still like Elijah Moore just with the Jags being a pass funnel. Like I think it definitely hurts him, right? With Cooper being there, but the thing that I like is the fact that Elijah Moore actually saw some deep targets. So I still think that there is hope in this pass funnel defense for Elijah Moore. Generation, hope you guys are having a good weekend. Same to you. With Pacheco out, should I start Singletary or Herbert? Golly. I will go. I'm going to go Singletary over Herbert. And then for your last one, looks like Lawrence is going to play, so I'd still go Texans. But Kev, what do you have to say about that Singletary versus Herbert?
I think I go Herbert. I think he still probably plays. Probably 40% of the snaps. I mean, Herbert, I just don't know what to expect, or not Herbert, but Singletary at all. And they just haven't been very good at running the ball all year. But I do think the Browns become more interesting if Lawrence plays because he's not going to be mobile, right? And their offensive line is really banged up, and so they could get home all day on Trevor Lawrence. So I do think the Browns are still a very good shot to being a good defense to play here. But so
Marcus, Herbert, Love, Dobbs, or Russ. Give me your best start and the highest ceiling start. Herbert is going to be the start. Highest ceiling for me is going to be Jordan Love. Just with the assumption they go out there and smack the Giants around.
it's actually really close for me.
You leaning Dobbs?
I would go Herbert, but so I have these ranked as Herbert, Love, Wilson, Dobbs. Like those are and I have them 9, 10, 11, and 12. I think the highest ceiling is you still have to give it to Justin Herbert. especially with Justin Herbert starting to run the ball more. That's been encouraging. Something that he kind of went away from a little bit. That was something that he kind of had in his bag and then sort of went away from it a little bit. Um, Not as great last week. Before that, 47 rushing yards, 73 rushing yards. So, I mean, he's starting to get there a little bit there. But I know he's coming off his worst game of the season. But I think I would probably say Herbert has the highest ceiling.
Dustin, need two for the flex, full PPR, Rice, Downs, Eckler, Walker, Charbonnet, and Mitchell.
Oh, Rice. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Eckler.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think Eckler has a decent day. I don't think we get like a 25-point vintage Eckler performance, but I think he gives us a little bit more faith today. New Orleans and the Browns defense. I'm gonna go New Orleans. Just a smidge.
I'll go Browns, but
It's close. Ravens or Texans. Ooh,
Ravens.
Ravens. Is Keaton Mitchell worth throwing into the conversation for a replacement for Pacheco? Yes, I'd play Keaton Mitchell over Singletary and Herbert.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're talking about the same start sit generation, yeah, we're going Mitchell over the other two. Is McKinnon a league winner over CEH?
The tough part to remember with McKinnon last year is he went on that crazy run of receiving touchdowns in all those games, and that's how he got there. He's still not going to play a ton of snaps, right? Like it's just not going to be a thing. Like it's never been a thing, and he has been dealing with injuries. Like that is legit. And so like he is still a little banged up, and there's reports out there that he is going to be eased back in, and that they're not going to just. But to what extent, I don't know. But I think you would have to make a better case for CEH, but there's also somebody that you should keep in the back of your mind because CEH is terrible, and his name's Generic Prince. Is the other name that wouldn't be surprised if he mixed in today. He's been activated, he's been elevated. We've seen something similar to this before in years past, like I've said. So
Pacheco.
Yeah, well, yes, Pacheco, but there's been other options. Guys like what is his name? Ware, Derek Gore.
Spencer Ware.
Spencer Ware. Like, I mean, we've seen this type of stuff happen for them.
Williams.
Yes. And so I'm not saying go out and pick up Generic Prince, but it wouldn't surprise me if he played 30% of the snaps, something like that, and handled some carries and stuff like that, because CH is awful at pass protection. So he does not play a lot on third down.
Michael, Lamar or Herbert? We are both in the Herbert camp, given the weather. Yeet Man, likely or Brevin Jordan? I would not want to play either. If Tanner Hudson is available, that's who I would want to pick up. Both of those tight ends are playing in bad weather games. If I had to, if none of those options were available, like Tucker Kraft, if he's out there, I'd rather play Tucker Kraft as well. But if I had to pick, I would lean likely on this one.
I would go likely.
Supper Kelly back with us. Half PPR, 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, and a flex. Monty, Gibbs, Bijan, Mostert, DJ Moore, and Ridley. So DJ Moore, locking him in at the wide receiver spot. 2 running backs. I'm going to go Bijan and Mostert. And then I will flex Gibbs.
I agree.
Ken, PPR half point per carry. Ridley, Hunt, Elijah Moore, Myers. I'm going Elijah Moore here.
I'm going to go Jacoby Myers.
Sutton or Myers? I'm going Sutton.
Yeah.
Swift or McKinnon? I will go Swift.
I would go.
It's closer than it should be.
I'm going to go Swift, yeah.
Expert clips, Rice or Puka. This is going to be Rashid Rice for both of us. Back to generations. Reed Cooper or, well, assuming if there's three generations, just throw your question back into the bottom of the chat and we'll get it. But this is going to be Reed for me over Cooper.
It'd be Cooper for me, but
Bucks or Chiefs defense.
I'm gonna go Bucks.
Yeah, probably. Eckler or Cook. Eckler by a smidge. This is much closer than it should be.
Yeah. I really like James Cook this week, but I would play Austin Eckler.
I can drop Trevor Lawrence, got Josh Allen QB1, so you guys agree pick up Gainwell and CEH or get yes. I would do that.
Yeah.
So
There's
if
if
you
you
have
Josh Allen, there's no reason to hold Trevor Lawrence, especially now that he's banged up.
yeah,
I actually would hope somebody picks him up and plays him.
right,
Just
absolutely. And Trevor Lawrence, outside of the past couple of weeks, it was not looking good. So, Tingley, Law or Fields is definitely going to be Fields for both of us. Pick two full PPR, Moss, ETN, HN. I will go the first two.
I'm gonna go Moss and Achan. And also the other thing too is I believe the Jaguars play the Ravens after this week too. I think it's Sunday Night Football, so also really bad matchup for a quarterback who's not going to be very mobile.
Yeah. Moss, Singletary, or Keaton and a half PPR is going to be Zach Moss.
Yep.
Kev, character question for you. Hopkins or Matt Gay?
This is going to be Matt Gay.
Here it was. Reed, Cooper, or Sutton?
It's going to be Cooper.
I lean Sutton here.
Yeah, it's just I think it's really close between the three of them. Obviously really like Jaden Reed. I've been a Jaden Reed guy the entire season. I mean, really going back to the draft, but I really like Jaden Reed. But I also worry that can the Giants push them to have to do that? I don't know. But also with Amari Cooper, like I said, it's at home. He's performed. His home road splits are definitely a thing. They are. But the thing that I do like the most is with him is mainly how many targets we were seeing him force fed to him before he got hurt. He looked like he was about to have a really big game before the injury happened. Or excuse me, I guess I misspoke because the bang or no, I'm right. Yeah, they are at home. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I was looking at the wrong game. But anyways, I Cooper it stands out. I could see him seeing 12, 13 targets today. I just think he's in a really good spot.
Dawson Knox expected to be eased back into the offense today. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Like I said, the thing that I'd be worried about most is just the how much they were using 12 personnel splits. I mean 12 personnel groupings. So that does make sense. Other options instead of DK would be CH, McKinnon, Puka, or Ty Chandler. I would go McKinnon over DK.
Yeah, I have no faith in Drew Lock. So
No. Do you think Noah Fant becomes interesting in not season long leagues? But I feel like Noah Fant always gets targeted with Drew Lock. Do you think? And I'm assuming he's close to Stone Men on DK.
I'm sure he probably is, or he's pretty close, somewhere around there.
You think he'd be an interesting punt player? No.
He could be, but I don't know. There's probably better options. I think.
ETN or Olave half PPR is going to be ETN for me.
Yeah, I'll go ETN here.
Ravens or Saints? I'm going Ravens.
Yep.
Conklin, Likely, or Chig Okonkwo?
It's gonna be likely.
likely. Lee, Lockett Downs or Singletary have PPR starting Pittman already. I would still double down.
Yeah.
I would go Downs here. Carter, start one. Cup, Flowers, Ferg. We go Fergie Ferg on this
That
one.
is interesting. It is close between Zay Flowers or Ferguson. I think I lean
Yeah.
towards Flowers, but yes, Ferguson's a top 5 tight end this week.
Sit one for Ashton, Brees, Puka, London. I'm going to sit Puka.
I agree. Yeah.
It's not London. It's not
Yeah.
London. London or Flowers. We're both going to go London on that one. Hubbard or Swift.
It's gonna be Chuba Hubbard for
I
me.
figured we are going to be split on that one. I would go Swift here. Our guy Quentin back with us. Haven't seen that face around here for a while. Good to have you back. Choose two: Dobbs, Higgins, or Davis.
I'm gonna say
sit Higgins.
yeah, agreed.
Sit Higgins. Cook or Ritter in the Superflex. Oh, this is.
I'm gonna go Desmond Ritter. Like, there's still ways for James Cook to fail. He's only playing like 45% of the snaps. One thing that's happened with Joe Brady taking over at OC is James Cook has actually played 100% of the red zone snaps since since Brady has taken over, which is kind of interesting, which is a bit of a change. But he's still only playing 45% of the
Huge
snaps,
change.
and he's also only playing 45% of the rush attempts. 14% target share for James Cook, so it is a good spot. But there's the area there where he could fail because he's not like an every down player.
This one to me, Lee, comes down to how penalized are you for turnovers? Because that's been Ritter's Achilles heel, right? Like giving up, like 2 interceptions, losing 2 fumbles each game. So if you have like a hefty penalty for turnovers, I would lean Cook. But if it's just like, a point each for, a fumble or a pick, I would go Ritter. I do like this spot for him. I do think Ritter going up against a banged up Bucks defense is a place where Ritter could give us a good game. Flower, Singletary, or Keaton from TX. That's going to be Keaton for me.
I'm gonna go Zay.
Dak or Mahomes. Dak.
Yeah,
It's Dak.
it's crazy to have both of those, though. Really, to be honest, that you do. But yeah, it's still Dak. I've went back and forth all week between who should be one between Hurts and Dak. Like, this game is just so incredible. I'm sure it'll fail. I'm sure it won't be the shootout
Yeah.
that everyone thinks it's going to be. But I have Jalen Hurts right now at 1, Dak at 2, Allen at 3, and Patrick Mahomes at 4, with Justin Fields wrapping up the top 5.
I would still go Ritter here with the -2. IG, Flowers, or Walker. I'm going to go Flowers.
Yeah, I agree.
We buy homes near you, 512. In a non-PPR, we need 2 running backs and 1 flex. Kamara, ETN, Kyron, Barkley, or Zach Moss. Kamara locked in. Moss locked in. And then I will flex Barkley.
I agree. That's what. Yeah.
Boom. Havaroni, White, or Devonta Smith in a non-PPR league.
Oh boy.
Wow.
So a non PPR Rashad White becomes less attractive, because that's really how he gets there. The last time they played, that's how he got there. He did nothing on the ground. I think he had 6 catches for like 60 yards or something like that. I think he found the end zone. Is how he got there. I'm gonna go Devonta Smith.
I'm going to go Smitty as well. Another one here from Lee. What are your guys' thoughts on Stroud this week? 6 point per touchdown. Still play him over the streamers like Browning or Baker.
I know he had the weather concern, but man, Stroud has just been incredible all year. He's been like a kingmaker. I mean, he has just been phenomenal all year. I get it, the weather, and it certainly is a thing. But like I've said, very often we overplay the weather and how important it really is. Um, the only concern is they're playing the Jets, and maybe they don't need to throw, but they have not been able to run the ball at all this year. I saw for one game where Singletary had a good game, but now I will say the Jets, you can't beat them on the ground, but I don't know. Like, it's hard to sit CJ Stroud with how well he's played this year.
Yeah.
And so that would be my only concern. Like, could you play Browning over him? The ceiling's there. I mean, or the opportunity, I should say, we saw it just last week. But are you counting that to happen again? I don't know. Like, we've seen one really good game from him against one of the worst pass defenses in the league. But we've also seen one where I would say the Steelers are more middle of the road pass defense, maybe a little bit higher, where he looked terrible. So
Yeah.
like it's a pretty big. CJ Stroud has gotten you to this point, I would say, and so sitting him now like is extremely risky.
Yeah. But that is going to wrap it up. Appreciate all you for rocking with us. If, like I said earlier, if you're new to the stream, please hit us with a like and a sub if you would be so kind. Really helps us out a lot. We also be going live tonight for the first look at Week 15 waivers, which obviously, if you're joining that one, it means you're in the playoffs. So hope to see a lot of you back here tonight. Thank you. Good luck this week, and we will talk to you all soon.